apocalypse, Mr. Mannheim.
Who are you?
Your new lord and master. You may call me Dark Side.
Ooh, boy, you dang gonna be listening to Dark Side's Couch. I'm Southern Mike.
This is James.
I'm Shée.
Got nothing to do with the book.
Yeah, because it takes place
Nothing.
in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
That's
It's pretty great though.
I just threw that out there.
midway
I
through
like
the
it.
intro, I forgot that I'm on the show. And I was just kind of listening to it, and then I realized, I have to get on this. I have to participate in this.
You know, I got a what do you call it? A retraction.
Okay.
I got because a few episodes ago. Oh yeah, play the song.
Did you
Play the
fuck something up? You fucked something up?
Sort of,
Oh.
sort of. Yeah. So
All
you
right,
can
close
play the
enough,
song.
close enough,
You can
close
play the
enough.
song. He put such a venomous F on that.
Yeah, I picked
I
the
really
best chorus
appreciate.
from the song for that. Yeah.
So, I always like to accuse these guys of like dragging them down in the mud with me and being way worse. And James was like, "No, we're not way worse. I feel we've gotten better." I go, "No, we're way worse." So I've been playing old episodes on Twitch, and I realized you're right, James. We have gotten better. We used to be way worse.
Yeah. Well, and I think I was just trying to. So when you collaborate on something with someone else, you need to find like an equilibrium where everybody can kind of like exist in the same space. And so I was willing to come down to Mike's level a lot more in the olden days, and I think I resist it now more.
It's funny because I was just like, "Oh yeah, Shée must have gotten a lot worse." And then when she first joined us, I feel like maybe Shée, you felt that you had to like kind of play in the mud. So like you were pretty dirty when we first started.
Yeah. Well, once in a while. I mean, the way she opened that Captain N episode is. You know,
Oh, that
scarred
was-
me
that
for
was
life.
That wasn't
tame.
dirty.
That was tame.
I
wasn't
will
about
say
being
I
dirty.
cut back a little bit, a lot of it probably, once I realized my brothers were listening.
Right.
And I was like, oh, and one of them called Charlie, just skip ahead 5 seconds. And one of them called out the episode where I admitted that I had tossed some dude salad. And I'm like, oh, okay.
We're gonna.
Doesn't
we're
your
gonna-
brothers love you? Don't they want you to have a good life?
Gonna
They
mention that a
do,
few
and
more
he-
times
and
over the
he-
course of the episode.
There we go.
And he didn't shame me for it. He
That's
did not
right.
kink shame.
I've probably, I say though, I am steady across the whole show in terms of being
Right.
vile.
No growth. No
Mm-hmm.
growth whatsoever on Mike's part.
Always hilarious though.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we're in our 30s. You could say whatever you want. Like, you can't be
Well,
held
I
to.
felt that way my whole life.
You're not a. Well, no. What I mean is that, like, you don't have to worry about your reputation or something because you said something. Well, no, actually, you
Well,
do.
this
Never
is
mind,
my
you do.
reputation.
You do. Yeah. Most of your life is cataloged via this podcast.
That's right.
This is the
Yep.
most accurate record.
I mean, I am pretty bad.
You've been problematic. What's not bad is this comic book, though.
No,
oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, another Badger
I know.
win.
Yes.
See.
We're just a Badger Stand podcast now. Fuck the rest.
Yeah, this is a good comic book.
Sorry,
Badger.
Stingray. Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you.
This guy's got to get together.
I'm gonna split that stingray.
Damn,
No.
Mike.
No,
Yeah.
probably not. Probably not. No, you
He's
gotta
gonna-
aim higher.
He might pinch my. He'd be a superhero though with his firmly toned buttocks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad to see that we all agree on this. The Badger's still a home run.
Yeah,
Badger's
Badger's great.
I thought Shée might have a problem with this because there's like a Roman space chimp from the future or something in it.
Didn't even register with me. That's how good the comic was.
Wow.
I thought
Like
he
I
was-
noted it was a primate person and I didn't even care.
I thought he was like a Thundercat type of guy.
Oh yeah, Thundercats.
Yeah.
I was big
Normally, I
into
don't like to
Thundercat
do
toys.
comics that are like intentionally already pretty funny because
Yeah.
it's like, where do we go from there, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna be like, man, that was a good joke. Well, too bad you guys
No.
didn't read this
I
book
mean,
and we did.
this comic's tone varies greatly, so
Yeah.
that's why I think it's going to be easy for us to do a good show about it
Yeah, it's pretty all over the place. Well, before
in the
we get,
best way.
yeah, before we get into that, I did want to do a new thing here. Can we do a new
All right.
thing?
All
Yeah, Let's
right.
do it because we've got time to kill. We got to
Yeah.
fill it up. We got to get content. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead. I want to test out a new segment. I was thinking we could do a segment where we keep an eye on what the boomers in and around the comic industry are saying. So it's
You
a
mean
new.
us?
No. Well, boomerism is a state of mind now. And I've noted that is that like you don't actually because there's very few boomers actually saying boomery things. I mean they are, but there's a lot of Gen Xers saying boomy stuff.
I would say anyone over the age of 21 is a boomer.
It kind of is. It's kind of just a mind state now.
Right.
I've
Believe whatever
definitely-
whatever your dad believed.
I've met some
God.
25-year-old boomers for sure. But yeah, I thought we'd check in and see what they're saying in and around the comic book industry in a new episode lengthening segment called Boom Patrol.
All right.
Hmm.
And what happens to your own personal internet? Because if you wanted a trophy, you had to finish in first place.
The metric system is the tool of the devil!
That's right, Abe.
That was great.
Good open.
Thank you. Stay tuned. Maybe it changes on the outro a little bit.
Oh, hey.
So, comic book legend and Canadian man Todd McFarlane, right? We all
I didn't
Todd
know he was
McFarlane.
Canadian.
Oh yeah, he's very
That's why
Canadian.
he
That's why
talks so
he's-
funny.
That's why he's got such a
I've
funny
never
voice.
heard him talk.
Oh well, you're going to, and you're gonna love what he has to say.
He talks like Sylvester the cat.
He does have a weird slur to his voice that's kind of gotten progressively worse over the years. He's in his 60s now, so he's technically not a boomer, but he's a boomer.
He's carving Kiss action figures.
And that's actually what this is about. This is about the action figures, not about Kiss, unfortunately, but it is about the action figures. A couple weeks ago, this is gonna be old news by the time this drops, but whatever. We got time to fill. He did an interview on YouTube with a YouTuber named Shartimus Prime.
Oh,
Get it out of your system now. Just get it out now.
Wow.
It doesn't even rhyme. I don't know where he's, but he's popular.
That's
You know,
fantastic.
he made it work. He made it work. So what can I say?
Fantastic.
Hats off to Shartimus. Like he made it work. Like I can't criticize the guy. He runs a channel where he a very successful channel where he looks at toys. So like, dude, you won. You won. You know something
Yeah,
I
he
don't
sure
know.
did.
So Shartimus got in a conversation with Todd McFarlane about why he doesn't make more female action figures, why there's only a few of them in the lines, because he's been doing the licenses for a lot of different stuff, including the DC lines, and there's not a ton of female characters. So there's a lot to it, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I did want to pick out one clip. Basically, the thrust of the argument was, you know, he can sell like one as a special or a Wonder Woman here and there, or whatever. But like if you have a line of 8 figures and 4 of them are women, he just knows they're not going to sell. Like I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know the analytics, but that's his reasoning, right? So towards the end of that reasoning, he tells a story, like a long rambling story, and it's a hypothetical about like a little boy. And he does well on his report card or whatever, and the parents go get him a toy, and they get him, the female action figure. And so then he said, let me see, I think I've got the YouTube clip right to it. So this is what he says at the end of that story about the little kid, the little boy who gets the female action figure.
And you got me the female figure, right? You got me the female figure. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but somewhere along the line, serial killers begin at a certain spot.
Oh my God.
So
At some point, once you told your kid you walked away from monsters and aliens and dinosaurs.
So yeah, so that's that was kind of probably the worst part of it, is when he suggested that
Oh
boys
my
getting
God.
female action figures turn them into serial killers.
I'm glad that Shartimus immediately laughed his ass off about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well,
What were
'cause
you saying,
he's
Mike?
thinking like, well, that's good content.
Yeah, this is gonna bump those views
That's
up
solid.
substantially.
That's the same reasoning as that guy that mayor that had to quit because he was like, if we get ice shacks, you know what that's going to lead to? Prostitution.
Ice shacks?
Like
Shaquille O'Neal made out
no,
of ice?
I think the ones like ice fishing, like those kind of shacks that you keep.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know how things work. Maybe that does happen. So I don't know, man. He
I'm
probably
guessing
could have gotten away.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, like, well, it's his toy company, right? So like, he gets all the data. So he probably has like a special list of like who bought his toys that became serial killers.
I have to. Yes.
I don't think so, Mike.
Which
I-
ones?
I don't have the analytics. I don't know. I'm assuming he does, but it's just a lot of people arguing, and half are saying like, well, I work in the toy industry and female figures don't sell, and half are saying, well, I work in the industry and they do. So I don't know. The counter argument is that they don't sell because most of the ones they make are kind of shitty.
I thought the people who buy those action figures now are like grown men who just keep them in their
Yeah, they
homes
are.
for,
They
like,
are.
displays and shit.
Well, that's why my favorite comment in the comment section, there's some people on the story on Bleeding Cool arguing about this. And one guy says, I don't order female figures anyway. And somebody asks why. And he says, well, because I don't relate to them and I find them overly sexualized. I don't want that. And so someone replies, well, do you buy figures of villains? And he goes, no, because I do not want to promote villainy. And someone responded, you are an odd duck.
Are you trying to tell me that a grown
But at
man
least
who
he's
collects?
living both sides.
Yeah.
Are you telling me a grown man who collects action figures is a fucking strange?
I mean, I have a couple. I have like two. Actually, no, I don't even think I do have it. I have a couple little things. Because I don't want to go down that well.
1, 2, 3.
I do. I have a couple. Yeah, I have
know
like
there's 2 more.
I have like 3 on my comic shelf, and that's it.
How many of
because I
them are
don't wanna go down that-
females?
Well, one's a bat, so it's hard to tell the gender of that one. And one's Robot Man, who's speaking of Doom Patrol. One's Robot Man, who's a robot brain, was a brain inside of a robot body. So I don't know if you can count that.
I don't have any action figures in my house.
And then the third one is Batmite. So technically not male or female.
Yeah, it's just an imp. So I don't know, man. I will say though, they're one of the figures that McFarlane made. Look at this pretty badass Dark Knight's Wonder Woman with a chainsaw, gun, and everything. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and no one bought it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a boomy issue, if he's just speaking from boomerism, or if he's just a businessman.
I bought female figures before.
But you're also a lady.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a couple of female. I had a couple of Catwomans. I know that. I had 2 Catwomans.
But they just got so covered in jizz.
You know,
You couldn't keep them out anymore.
I have to say, like, as a kid, before you really had access to the internet, it was a strange thing to be like a 10-year-old boy, and now you have a sexy Catwoman action figure. It's strange. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything like that. I never had a feeling of like, this is an inferior toy or this is an inferior character, but it was definitely a little weird versus having the beefed up dudes.
You're like, well, I got some of Catwoman's here, but they're covered in jizz, so like, but the other one I have to put away entirely. Like, why you had to put away entirely? Well, it's covered in shit.
Yeah, that was my Lex Luthor.
'Cause you've been sticking them up your butt, like that kid with the remote control.
Yes. He did say something kind of. One other thing he did say in the interview that I thought was really interesting is because DC has Warner Brothers, I guess I should say, has a policy now that none of their figures can have guns, which is pretty lame.
Un-American.
Very un-American, absolutely. And
well, that's why he's Canadian.
And he says in the interview, like, well, am I going to be soon selling a pack of just generic guns, and might those guns maybe fit in the hands of some of these figures I've made? I don't know.
Pretty based.
Which is a pretty based move. I like that.
Is he making money from all this? Is he doing well? Who the fuck is buying action figures?
Well, it depends on the year. He says in the interview that he spent millions on tariffs last year and basically took a dive because like he was keeping his figures at $20, whereas everybody else was raising them to $25. So it's like he definitely talks about sometimes some years are bad, some years he doesn't do well at all with that, and some years are great, and that he just kind of accepts that because as he goes into a big thing about he's not a publicly traded company, so he can afford to just say like, I'm going to take a wash this year. I'm just going to do it.
I can't imagine having that kind of ambition about something like this.
Yeah, well,
like I would create Spawn, sell the license to that, and never work again.
He tried pretty hard, not to sell the license, but to push the character. Like he tried
I would just
real hard.
I would just sell it to Marvel and be like, all right, I'm done.
I think that window's closed. If he would have done it in '95, that would have been a retirement strategy right there.
He'd be in Deadpool crossover books.
Yeah,
I can't think of a single serial killer.
Yeah,
that is associated with getting a female doll.
Right.
But are there plenty of serial killers started because their family made sure that they didn't do anything girly at all if they exhibited that? Yep.
So you're saying it's completely backwards.
I'm guessing there's a lot of crossover between men who own action figures and incels who become serial killers.
That seems like a bold statement. That seems like a.
Am I sticking my nose up at action figure buyers? I think I am.
I think you're saying. I think you think too many people are serial killers.
I think most people are. They're just too afraid to act on it.
It's weird that you're cool with comics, but you're drawing the line at action figures.
Yeah, I am. Isn't that
it's
weird?
Like a little it's like a little 3D comic sitting on your shelf.
I guess. I don't know. It just seems weird for a grown man to be doing that.
It is. Well, it's a little weird for a grown man to be doing a comic book podcast.
Nah.
About a 40-year-old comic book. All right. Well, that's all.
I'm here for the jokes.
I just thought that was something to take a look at, and I'll keep my eye open for what the boomers are saying around the comic book industry, and maybe we'll come back and go on the Boom Patrol again in the future.
Alrighty.
You know, when I was growing up, we didn't have any childproof cats.
The internet is a series of tubes.
The president is a Democrat.
The internet is a series of tubes.
Series of tubes.
Who said that again?
Ted Stevens.
Who the hell's that dude?
He was a senator. He was very upset because it took like a day to get an email, and he thought it was because the internet was too congested. Very mad about that.
He thought it was like Futurama.
Yeah, he thought it was just a bunch of tubes, and it took him like a day and a half to get an email because people were doing too much business on the internet and slowed it down.
All right. He's bottlenecking.
All that porn.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on.
All right.
Let's talk about the badger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the bagger.
Bagger.
This is the crazy bagger man.
Yeah, at the
this
grocery
is
store.
Bagger Vance, The Legend of Bagger Vance, issue 13 from 1985, a book called Musical Dimensions, written by the creator, Mike Barron, who I think wrote the entire 70 or so issues of this thing. Art by Bill Reinhold and Keith Wilson. We last saw him back in episode 165. We looked at issue 8, so not that further down the line. But a lot's changed.
Yeah, and this book is super random because like we didn't have an issue picked out, and
No.
I just picked the first one I clicked on.
Yeah, it suggests that they're all winners.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. So the basic idea with the Badger is he's a dude who's a Vietnam vet who lost his mind and created this superhero persona of the Badger. And he's kind of like proto Moon Knight in a lot of ways. He's got the multiple personalities, but he's off his rocker, and he's since escaped from a mental institution, and now he is in the service of a 5th century druid who has hired him as a bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
And he can talk to animals, maybe. It's not clear.
And he may or may not be the mascot of the college team.
Yeah, he has which was actually Shea's observation when we first looked at him. Is he looks like he has like a Wisconsin Badgers college football logo on his chest, and it turns out that that's probably the intention there because he's in Madison,
And,
Wisconsin.
The cover is like the Badger in his costume, and I like his costume a lot because it's like a normal superhero, like generic superhero outfit you'd see in like the 80s or 90s, but he's got a pair of like blue pants.
He's got like
Right.
bell bottoms on. Yeah.
He's got like Slav exercise like Adidas pants.
Well, you
just
think
puts
maybe
on.
he had the tights on underneath like a traditional superhero and just didn't like the way it looked and just put on some joggers on top of it?
I would put on some joggers. I'm not gonna look at just be that weirdo.
Yeah, he does look good. Well, you can't see all the definition in his legs though is the problem because you know
it's a
he's
big
built.
problem.
It is a big problem. It's a big problem for a lot of guys at the gym.
Well, the cover is the Badger is looking all shocked as like a doorway in space and time opens up, and this gorilla Thundercat jumps out, knocking the druid over a
Yes.
table of food, and he
Yes.
is wearing a purple robe.
That's Ham the druid who was banished by the other druids. He's been in a coma for 1,500 years.
You want to know why? Because he was buying action figures.
Well, I think the other druids would have probably been okay with that.
All the guys, people listen to this show that buy action figures just turned off. They're like, I hate this show now.
No.
Well, they might.
Mike's
They might
wrong.
relate.
Come back to us.
You know-
their Twitter followers just dropping.
Ham the druid kind of looks like Shea and I were just watching an episode of King of the Hill with David Cross, and where Bobby
Yeah.
Hill becomes a tarot reader, and
Oh,
they're all dressed in purple
And
robes.
a warlock.
Yeah, that's what Ham is dressed as.
I know. What is it called? I know a girl repellent.
Girl repellent when I see one.
repellent when I see one, and I want
Yeah.
grandbabies.
That's a
Ugh.
great scene.
Yeah,
And
Peggy
that's
was actually
after
on.
Hank had said, I'm going to shield your mom from this. I know she does that with me, and I'm going to return the favor.
You know, that's how Peggy would say that if Bobby was buying Todd McFarlane action figures.
Yeah, he probably did. Maybe when they do that reboot, that's what we'll see he's been doing for the last 20 years.
Right? We just gotta find that one special lady that will come over to your house and see all your action figures and like, wow, you're so cool.
Yep, and there is literally one lady like that.
And that guy is just like, I'm
What's
only
up,
dating.
guys?
Yes.
And that guy's like, and I'm only dating you because I want you to dust these things.
That seems about right. They do get very, very dusty.
Someone said to me the other day that like, people in the comic community are very misogynistic and right wing.
There's an enclave of them that are, sure.
Yeah.
Right? I never see that though. I never
Well,
get that.
Well, where you're just seeing the shit posters on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
You're not down in the dirt of
be-
Reddit.
The
Well, I mean,
best
like
people.
Ditko went all.
Well, that's
Oh,
like
right.
that's the old man creator. I mean, like the fans. Like there's just those fans.
Oh.
Some of them are. Some of them are.
Yeah,
Because it
they're-
turned out that the nerds were way more toxic than the jocks ever were.
Well, I think
They
everyone's
should have
just.
got their revenge.
I think there's a wide spectrum of toxicity. The
Well, the
toxicity in
jocks-
your city.
Well, the jocks were just meatheads. They didn't know better. They didn't know what they were doing. The nerds know
They
exactly
knew what they
they're
were doing.
They didn't know what they
They
were
both
doing.
knew what they were doing. They were just doing it for different reasons.
Hmm.
Can you imagine going to the comic book store, right? And you got your $20 in your hand, and you're looking at the display case of toys, and you're like, you know what? This will improve my life.
You know, yeah, you live in an empty box.
Hey, I have
Like-
a couch.
You have is it a couch or a futon?
It's a real couch.
Where'd you get this from?
A neighbor was giving it away.
Yeah, that seems about right.
I'm not gonna judge him for that.
Look at James sticking his nose up at me for just repurposing furniture.
I wouldn't have said anything if I didn't feel the need to step in and defend the action figure collectors.
James, does your new watch like detect whenever there's poor people around you, so you can change your route?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be like right next to them. I mean, that's just sanitary. Like that's not discriminatory. It's sanitary.
Right, because they're
I mean,
probably dirty. They
James,
probably
you
have
know
COVID.
the poor people are in the room, right?
The pores are
Calls
in the room.
coming from inside the house.
The pores are coming from inside the apartment.
What? James just yanks the internet from the wall and just
Throw it out, I throw my laptop out the window.
Ah!
As I sit there.
And then he realizes that not having a laptop makes him poor.
Shée, you are not poor. You're poorer,
Yeah.
but you're not poor. You're not a poor person.
I'm poor at heart.
Yeah, you're poor of spirit.
I'm the most poor person in this room.
Well,
And I refer to room as Zoom room.
Oh, the Zoom.
the
room.
Zoom room with the Zoomers.
Yeah.
My favorite people.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Oh.
Make my heart go room, room. My supernova girl.
Speaking of Zoom, we have to zoom through this book.
Yeah, it's easy enough.
Yeah, somebody's got a curfew.
We'll be. Yeah, I gotta go to work.
All right. So that was the cover.
So if Mike gets fired, it's your fault, listeners.
My job doesn't fire people.
No, this company ain't firing anybody.
They don't fire nobody. They haven't fired me for all the other stuff I did. They're not firing me for being a little late.
Yeah. If you show up just kind of within a 3-hour window, they'll give you a raise.
You know what? I know you're kidding, but like,
Kind of.
kind of, kind of.
No.
If you text the leader or whatever you want to call
The leader.
whatever I don't know what to fucking call it, the foreman, the floor
foreman?
manager, whatever.
Oh, please keep trying to come up with a name.
Project manager.
If you just thank you. If you text them just BRB, like
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Some of these like live event shows, you can just, if there's enough people on set, you can just leave. I've hung out in the back of trucks for hours singing
Yeah.
songs.
No, I can't do that. Like I'm integral in this gig. Like I have to be there.
Nope. I once on my final gig for a particular company, me and one other guy, we just hung out in the back of a truck and we sung songs for hours. We sung classic rock for like 3 hours when we were supposed to be working, and we were paid more than most of the other people on the show.
On your last day on one company, I just decided to leave. My shift was continuing on. I decided to leave with you.
Yeah, I gave you a ride home.
Yeah.
Yep. Just got out of there. We're done.
I was just like, you know what? I think I just want to go.
Yeah, and it's zero consequences.
No one knew.
No one knew.
God.
No one cared. Live events.
I do not have that luxury, but you guys
Dude.
are self-employed for a reason, so
Oh yeah,
I
I'll
can't
get paid.
complain about that.
I'll get paid for 10 hours and do like 5 hours of work.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean,
pretty
you were
sweet.
asked to do 9 hours of work, but you gave him
Yeah.
a good solid 5. It rounds up to 10.
Just like when I'm dating girls, I give them a good solid 5, even though
Give 'em a
I
solid
said I would
5.
do 9.
It's dark. You can't confirm.
Good solid 5, and you told him it was 9.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. All right. This
Get
was
it?
a
It's
solid
a dick
9.
joke.
Yeah.
About hard
I-
ones. Yeah. About
Yeah,
big
yeah,
sausages.
Yeah.
Ugh,
yeah.
I hate the word you guys use for dicks.
Big old
Sausages.
pigs.
Ugh.
Swinging
Pigs in a
pigs.
You know,
Yeah.
we're inside of a vagina. It's a pig in a blanket.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
That's the sound James asked me when he pulled the
no.
Catwoman action figure out of his ass,
God.
unclogged those pipes.
I mean, it was. I'm a 10-year-old boy without the internet, and I've got these hot ladies in cat suits in my hand. What am I gonna? Of course. What am I gonna do? What do you expect from me? Had I known that 30 years later I was gonna be dealing with this shit on a podcast, maybe I would have reconsidered.
And that's why your relationship with your parents was so rocky, because they
No,
caught
that's
you
not
one
why.
day.
No, that's not why.
Now
That is-
eye contact ended.
I mean, I'll
Most
be
certainly
honest.
not why.
I'm surprised you didn't find your dad doing that.
All right. Well, now it's just
they did it,
becoming a
they did it
problem.
together.
Now it's
He
becoming
didn't do it. No, that's a step too far.
Yeah. No. He was all guns.
What are you doing, step two father?
Step 2, father?
Because I said step too far.
Oh.
Step too father. That's good. Good one,
Oh.
Mike.
All right. So we open up with like Wizard Colonel Sanders,
Yeah.
and he's got Ham.
Bravo.
He's got Ham, our druid man, in one hand, like he's choking him, and he's choking who is the badger, but he's in his civilian clothes in the other hand. He's killing them both.
And the badger is wearing a sweater with a sweater vest over that sweater.
Yes. And
It
he's
was a good
also
look.
going by Pierre right now.
Well, not yet. See, that's the thing. Is so this is I believe his name is Wetterlockus, who was Ham's like demon god that he worshipped. But apparently Wetterlockus isn't happy right now. I mean, it's really easy to piss off those demon gods. Happens all the
Okay.
time.
You're talking about Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
Wetterlockus.
Yeah, he's really into jewelry.
He's got a great like amulet in the center there, hanging down on his chest. He looks great.
What's that squiggly gold chain thing hanging
It looks
from
like a
his...
lasso of truth.
I mean, what is that?
I think it's like when
it's like his headphone cord got all tangled up.
Yeah.
I think it's just embroidery, like when you see a bullfighter or like a matador, and they've got all that nice embroidery on the side.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
It's a
That's
good
just
look.
that he got that freshman year of college. It's just his tattoo.
Right. It's his tribal tattoo.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is wearing a sensible suit, which you don't really expect from a demon god. But
No.
all right, he's got the money. So in the midst of this, Ham decides to summon Pierre, which is one of the Badger's alter egos. And it
Okay.
instantly turns the Badger into Pierre, which causes him to slip out of Colonel Sanders' hand, I guess.
Yeah, he does
Yeah?
a pirouette.
He does a pirouette. Pirouette? Is it pirouette? Should I say pirouette?
Pirouette? No, you say
Pirouette.
Yeah.
All right. I
And he
mean,
runs out of the room, which doesn't help the druid at all.
no, it doesn't help him at all. In fact, it makes it worse because now Colonel Sanders has 2 hands to strangle this guy with.
Right. Yeah, he's like pressing against his forehead and like,
Like-
strangling him. He's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well,
this is much worse.
No, I'm gonna
And
do
he's
this.
pissed. And it absolutely looks like he breaks this guy's neck.
Like the badger is like he gets his other personality and immediately goes to run off to kill a lady and a fat guy.
Yes. So his Pierre, this other personality, is a raping murderer guy. I don't know why he picked that personality to awaken, but
Maybe he just didn't like those 2 people he's about to go fuck up.
yeah. Well, and that's what we're going to see in a moment. But so Ham tells Waterlockus Sanders / Colonel Sanders that we're all kind of screwed now because I just loosed Pierre on the whole compound here. So
No,
fucked.
you know who he looks like?
Peter Cushing.
Vincent Price.
Oh yeah, Vincent Price. Yeah, that too.
Oh yeah, it's got a little Vincent Price.
Pretty
in
much
it.
any of those 70s
Vincent
horror
Price in that
icons.
like Scooby Doo weird ass spinoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Scooby Doo spinoff with Vincent Price.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's right. There is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them all.
He,
keeping
he also
busy.
looks like a Hammer Dracula, like one of those Hammer movie Draculas.
Oh, I thought you meant like MC Hammer.
Like MC Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's what I meant.
That's what I was thinking about MC Hammer. Well, that's where he got his jewelry sense from.
I know James described him as Colonel Sanders. Immediately, they think, oh, he must look like MC Hammer then. Hammer was
Well.
a production company in the 60s and 70s in England that made like risque horror movies.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know what Hammer is.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee played Dracula in like 17 million movies
Yeah,
for them.
he did. He did. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll outro this episode with a little MC Hammer if YouTube doesn't pop it as a copyright violation.
Nah, fuck him.
Fair use. All right. It's for academic purposes. Let it go.
I've been looking into the show. I go,
Mhm.
what is going to get us in trouble? Technically, everything we do is fair use. Like, there's no.
Technically, it's not.
We're not really breaking a whole lot of rules here.
We're not breaking a whole lot of rules. We're certainly not breaking more rules than most people who do podcasts. I've seen way worse. But
Oh yeah,
you know.
definitely. I was afraid we couldn't like do anything once
No,
we
we can
did
do
that
some
switch to
things.
YouTube, and I was just like, oh wait a minute, yeah, we can. It's all fair use.
Well, it's
even
also-
even
it's-
even
it's
saying Darkseid's couch is fair use.
No, I'd say no. I'd say no, but like they don't. It's not worth the effort to throw a big stink about it. I don't think it falls under. I mean, I
That's
don't
what
know.
you call
I guess,
That's what you call that Catwoman doll.
Maybe we
Fair
should call
use.
DC and see what they say.
I meant Big Stink.
I'm waiting for the cease and desist. That'll let us know specifically what's up, and we'll make the necessary adjustments.
You just crumple it up and pretend you didn't get it.
No, I bow to my corporate
Send in your
superiors.
new title suggestions, fans.
Mine is gay for comics.
Jesus Christ.
That's my idea.
Okay,
God
I'm going to
damn
do
it,
an
Mike.
on-air veto right now. If we were gay, then sure.
No,
If
we're
three
gay for
people-
comics.
No, that's not. That doesn't sit right. If we were 3 gay people reading comic books, absolutely gay for comics. But no.
Let's just say we are and just keep going.
No.
Yeah, the gay community should be fine with that.
I thought they were accepting.
I think we have 200 episodes of
Of
talking
people
about vaginas.
pretending?
Like, we've talked a lot about women.
I'm sure gay people like women.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe they don't know.
Usually not sexually.
What?
All right. We're going to explain some things to Mike after the show. So, what's his name? Ham, the druid, he uses a teleportation spell to get himself out of there, but ends up teleporting himself into like limbo or some alternate crazy dimension.
He's in some floaty island. It's like diamonds that are floating cookies.
Sure. Yeah. He's floating on like an oatmeal chocolate chip through the sky. Yeah.
And there's like a black devils with like they're just flying around.
Like little Batmans almost.
Little Batmans, yeah.
So then the Badger, as Pierre, goes to see the lady whose name I don't remember.
No, but she's in the comic.
She's the lady from the comic.
Daisy?
Daisy. She'd make a great action figure.
I think she was. I think she was like the Ham the Druid's
Like caseworker.
Like no. She's either the Badger's caseworker or she's the assistant to the Druid.
I think she might be both.
I can't remember which.
Maybe it's the same person.
Right, but so the Badger grabs her and is going to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't tell here if he was about to kill her or rape her.
Well, later she says he was going to rape her.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
but I didn't know if she does mention about that, but I didn't know if that was in a previous issue that she also.
So this is like a recurring issue. I'd leave I wouldn't stay in the house with him then.
Yeah, well, he's literally a different person at this point.
Right, but like just because like it's not his fault because he has alternate personality, but it's like you still don't hang out with him because it's clearly a danger.
Yeah, he is a huge danger. Well, I mean, he's the best protection they got. Like you
But
got
luckily
demon gods coming to you.
Luckily, she knows his one weakness.
Well, she is no. His weakness is supposedly that he loves animals, and she says, if you kill me, who's gonna take care of all his animals?" And he goes, "That's a different guy. I don't care at all."
Yep, I relate to that.
Yeah, in fact, I'm now Mike essentially, and I hate all animals, and I hate anything that requires anything to survive. So she goes to her backup plan, which is to show him a mirror, and apparently this snaps him out of it. Sure.
Well, because she made him look like the Badger. Or
Did she?
a Badger, or whatever.
Oh,
she took
That's
some
why
makeup.
she marks up his face.
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
all right.
Okay, all right. I like that. I like
It's a
that.
makeup. It's a makeup kit. I thought it was like a scratch board, and she was
Yeah.
just like
You boy.
I tell
she was dropping.
I tell you
some
what it
beats.
is. It's a great accessory for our action figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wha-
Better
What
than a
would
gun.
not be a great accessory is apparently a cat for Vincent Price here.
I don't like this. I don't like this
No,
scene.
because he just he finds a whole bunch of animals in the basement because I guess Ham used to need blood sacrifices. So he decides he's going to do the same. What with Ham
Right,
having praised
but-
him, and so he just pops a cat in two.
Right, but the animals are here because the Badger really loves animals.
Oh,
You
I
know,
thought it had
he-
to do with Ham.
He had a
No.
goose squad.
Yeah, remember he ordered a bunch of Canadian geese at in issue 8?
I do remember. That's the
Yeah,
thing
he
I
had a
remember
bunch of
most.
geese delivered. Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Yeah, so the Badger's been building a menagerie down in Ham's basement, which really must be very tempting for Ham because he used to sacrifice animals for blood.
I bet that basement stinks.
That's like an alcoholic moving in above a bar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you can't
So anyway,
do that.
this guy still destroys a cat.
Yeah, he pops the cat and he comes.
Right. A cat that looks a lot like Demo, my beloved cat.
Look at it-
So
look
Not
at his
that much.
Look at his O
Looking
face.
at him right now.
yeah,
Look at that dude.
he gets off on this hard.
Like oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's so exciting to him that he just starts going nuts. He starts going ham, if you will, and killing all of the various geese and things that are in the menagerie there.
But it looks like he doesn't get a chance. It looks like the only thing that gets sacrificed is the kitty.
And luckily, because the Badger took some time to get dressed.
Yeah, which then we come upon one of my, quite possibly my, no, not my new favorite, because my favorite panel in comic books will always be One Punch. But this is quite possibly my second, which is the Badger air karate kicking Vincent Price in the face, who then drops a goose while yelling, "Yo, Larry, I'm back, and I've got a big stick."
He calls everybody Larry because that was the name of his abusive father.
Ah.
So when he beats people up, he likes to
That's who he
imagine that they're
sees.
Larry. Yeah.
Okay.
And then for a couple pages, he just kind of brutally destroys this guy. Which is weird. Again,
breaks
demon god.
Yeah. Is he a demon god or is he just a wizard?
I thought, well, because Ham the druid, you would think if he's going to be
No, 'cause this
worshiping
guy-
anybody.
No, he doesn't worship him. He said that he keeps saying that Ham was his star pupil. So I think this was his wizard teacher.
So this is just some guy. This really is like that episode of King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's just some guy.
Some
Yeah.
dude.
I don't know, because by the end of it, he seems more than human.
Yeah.
Then
More human than human, if you will.
Maybe
Maybe that song's going to end the podcast.
That's fucking cool.
So yeah, it's looking like he's actually, so Waterluck is actually makes a little bit of a comeback. It's looking like he actually might succeed in killing the Badger, but then Badger goes ahead and calls all the various rats and vermin in the menagerie.
They chew Colonel Sanders to bits.
They do, which leads to my favorite part when the lady shows up in the basement.
Lady,
I guess checking on the guy who almost raped her, and says, "Hey, stop doing this! Stop feeding this man to these animals!" And he, with like a little petulant child look, says, "I'm getting rid of Lord Wetterlockus and feeding all the carnivores. What's wrong with that?" And he's kind of right.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's saving time.
Yeah, he's using
birds,
every
one
part.
stone.
He's using every part of the dead warlock.
So he's like a stripped corpse now, but since he uses blood sacrifice, he starts to sacrifice his own blood, and so he teleports away.
Right. Yeah, he turns into like a Tales from the Crypt kind of guy, like Crypt Keeper.
I'm a
And-
Tales
but
from the
he's-
Crypt kind of guy.
Yeah, so then it zaps him away,
Yep.
and this lady consoles the Badger because he's a good guy now, and starts to patch him up.
And she starts to yell at him for trying to rape her.
Well, she doesn't yell at him. She yells at him for like letting it happen because again, it's not him.
I mean, it is.
It's his body. It's not his
It's-
mind.
He's pretending it's him.
Now that's a different twist. If it turns out that all these personalities, he consciously knew that they were, he just constantly shifted it.
Yeah, mental illness isn't real.
That is true. If Ronald Reagan taught me anything,
Yeah.
said
He's an-
mental
look, he-
illness is not real.
Well, look, he's an outpatient.
You believe in mental illness, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine
bro,
believing
really?
in mental illness.
Come on, bro. Everyone's just faking it so they don't have to get a
Yeah.
job. People
You
just don't
need
want to
some-
work anymore.
You just need some good, hard, traditional home values, family
Yeah.
values.
Yeah. I'll tell you the real mental illness is unionizing.
Mike was talking about how his dad's softening up in his old age, and I think it just caught up with Mike in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, my dad turned into a shit lib. I'm so upset. I'm so upset, dude.
Your family sucks.
I mean, they're not great.
Shée is the best family of the three of us. She's got the
Yeah.
best thing going on with likable people in her family.
Yeah, well, the privilege of being a lady. Everyone,
Yeah.
kid gloves. Everyone, no one gets the nightmare.
Born
That's not
rich.
true at all. First off,
it's
and
probably not. But that's
No,
not. But
we
I'm, but I'm using my privilege to say so.
we
That's
all
true.
we all
That's
like
true.
each other. I don't know. Well,
is
mostly all
weird.
of us like
I
each
couldn't.
other.
I couldn't imagine that.
It's so weird to me when people like their family members, personally. Even if we weren't family members, I would still talk to you. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't at all. I have family members I don't talk to now.
Yeah, same.
Well, I of course have those too, but
See you
Name
at the
them all.
funeral. No, not really.
No,
you know, there's
it's-
that one, and then the other one.
I'm envious of this. I'm not actually making fun of it. I'm envious
know.
of it, but I just can't put my head into the space
I mean,
of
James, you've been adopted by my family, so
yeah. That was the biggest mistake they ever made.
Yeah, right. Now you're in. Now you're gonna
Yeah.
get those jewels.
I'm gonna bring everyone down to my level.
The long con.
Much like Mike had to bring me down to his level at this podcast, I'm bringing down Shea's entire family.
You mean the level of being based and hilarious? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a based podcast.
What does based mean?
Well, that's not a very based thing to ask.
Yeah, I know that's a pretty boomer thing to ask.
Yeah, you're gonna need to do that research
All
on
right.
your own.
You don't know what
Just
base?
boomer questions. That's my new segment.
just boomer.
I want to ask that, and do penises float?
Yeah, we're gonna answer that one of these days. As soon as we find an appropriate comic book to tackle that question, we're gonna do it.
Yep.
So then we see that Ham the druid is walking around through this weird limbo dimension, and for whatever reason, that was his only teleportation spell, is to take him here so he can't get out.
Well, no, he's not in limbo. He's in some weird void, but he doesn't want to go to a place called limbo. But limbo is just like a city.
Yeah, is that where he ends up?
Like maybe they switched the names because like right now he should be in something called limbo, going to another place that should have a name, but it's reversed.
But he goes to La Bistro instead of Limbo.
Oh, that's kind of fun. That's probably intentional.
Limbo, La Bistro.
Oh, so he hops a ride on like a crystal?
Yeah, floating crystal like I do when I'm smoking meth.
Yes, and he mentions that he'd like to talk to his real estate agent because he could buy this place and use it as a toxic waste disposal facility.
Yep. See now, Shée, that would be something that we'd call based.
It is very based.
So it's bad. Based is bad.
No.
Oh boy, I'll feel less based if I answer that question. So I can't answer it. It would take away some of my basedness to answer that.
So based means smart?
There's a bunch of listeners like there with Shée, like, what does based mean?
So yeah, this is worth noting that Ham, when he awoke from his coma, he basically became a businessman.
Yep.
And he manipulated the stock market. He can control the weather, and he would use that to kind of control the markets and make himself wealthy.
Very based.
It's extremely. So he lands his crystal somewhere, and he goes into a restaurant called La Bistro, and then things get weird.
Yeah, like everything else that just happened.
Everything was
now it
kind of
gets
normal
weird
up at this point. And then he meets like a Roman space chimp man.
Well, he's not like a chip man. He's from the year 500, and from what I can gather,
He's from the year 2500. He's from the 25th century.
Oh,
that makes more sense.
Maybe that's just what humans evolve into.
Yeah, Roman centurions with mohawks and ape faces.
I don't think it's a mohawk. I think it's more just like this is what his hair looks like.
It just grows that way?
Yeah, it just grows that way. Because look, he has hair everywhere else.
It's called a haircut, Mike.
He's got a black power symbol on his steel vest.
Yes, he does have a bizarre fist symbol on his chest.
I know. I have a reverse mohawk.
It does seem very. Mike, you said it earlier.
Based?
No. The cheetah people, the lion man.
Oh, Thundercats.
Thank you. Got as far as cheetah men. It's like that's not
It is not cheetah men.
When you said that, I thought of a man eating Cheetos.
No, cheetah
man.
Cheetah man is the most based, arguably.
Saul Cheetahman.
And so Ham makes friends with this dude and hangs out at this bar, meets like a Groucho Marx alligator man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be an alligator man or a puppet that's an alligator.
He moves like a puppet. Yeah, he looks like he has like a Kermit the Frog kind of face, but he's an alligator.
How are they going there?
The hilarigator? Is that what they call him?
Yeah. Oh, actually, they do say his name here. Clone Zone the Hilariator.
Yep.
All right.
That's what I am. I'm a hilariator.
This is exactly what I would have named him. Clone Zone the Hilariator. And so, they have a good time and they eat some various space foods and have just a good bro out session, right?
Yeah, they're having dinner and Ham's like, so I use my magic powers to manipulate the stock market. And the hilariator's like, oh, that's super based.
It's made its way into these weird limbo dimensions.
They're like, am I right? And then they too sweet. They give each other a too sweet.
I don't know if I know too sweet.
I don't know what that means. All right, never mind.
All right.
Moving on.
I might have to look that one up, but I won't tell anybody
I
looked it up.
You guys don't know what a too sweet is? That's lame.
No. I look it up and then I pretend like I knew all along.
There you go.
Which is the most based way to
it
handle
is.
such
That's
things.
right.
Yep.
I was going to say.
Demean people who didn't know, who learned 5 minutes after you learned. God.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yep.
loser.
Yep.
So Space Chimp Man, who is Judah Maccabee, he wants to make a deal with Ham. He says, like, well, I can get you back to the 20th century if you, from there, can use your magic druid powers to send me home to the 25th century. And they say, sure, let's do that.
Yep.
So they go into a pawn shop called the Past Plumber, and they talk to this dude who collects all kinds of memorabilia that kind of seems to all be from the 20th century.
That's where all the coolest shit is.
Yeah,
where all the
rollerblades and
He has a whole wall dedicated to female Todd McFarlane action figures.
these are the best ones. Around 2022, 2023, he started shifting mostly to female action figures.
You know, maybe Todd McFarlane's female action figures will sell better if he just gives them huge dicks.
Yeah, and male facial features.
He's like going into like the molding room, you know, in his like studio or wherever, where he's got his employees molding. He goes, "Hey, that Wonder Woman's looking real good. I'll tell you what I could use though: a huge set of balls."
Yeah, just huge swinging sausage right there.
And then the molder guy, the dude just turns and goes, "That's super based." He goes, "You right?"
Yep, and then they too sweet or whatever the fuck they do.
They too sweet. That's right. See you, Dad. You get it.
Yeah, I can fake my way through.
Yeah,
Pretend
give
I
me
know
a
what's
too
going on.
Yeah, give the old too sweet. Because
So
it's just too sweet.
So they talk to the Past Plumber, and the Past Plumber's like, "Yeah, sure, I can send you back to the 20th century." And so they get on like a hot plate, I guess.
Yeah, and he says that he can send him there, but he can't send him back. So he's like, "Well, how you guys gonna give me my action figures if you guys can't come back?" He goes, I'll figure it out." He's like, "All right, pay me now."
Yeah, that's a very appropriate response.
Yes.
Don't trust a
That
space
is the
chip
correct
man.
payment or
And,
response.
And Ham, who crashed in the restaurant, ruining their stuff, he crashes into their manor, ruining their dinner.
Yes,
Yeah.
apparently his soup.
Yep, they
ruining the
land in the badger's soup, and the badger apparently knows the space chimp.
Yep, apparently he wrestled him because the space chimp is like a future pro wrestler.
I can see that. I can definitely.
It's good
see
to
that.
know that my favorite sport is continuing on.
Yeah, it's how
long
they
into the
settle all
future.
actual disputes in the future. That's how all legal precedents
with
set.
worked fights.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
This is
every
kind of what we
president's-
do now.
every
This is a
president's-
minor issue, but on the cover, the
pretty
soup
great issue, if
is
you ask
like
me.
very clearly red, and then in this panel, he mentions that the soup was cream of broccoli. There's some issues there.
Right.
All right.
Well, the cover doesn't have to be representative of the book necessarily. That's how they got dumb kids like me to buy comics that sucked.
Someone had their fucking period in my soup.
They put a cool.
James,
I haven't had it yet. No, this
that wasn't in the episode. They don't know.
oh
Yeah, they
shit,
don't know.
I forgot.
Yeah.
They don't know.
I bought it. I'll rather than go through the work of cutting all this out, I'll just explain it. I basically inherited Shea's Fitbit account, thought I changed everything, and then got the notification that my period was about to start.
Yep, there you go.
Spoiler
Son of a-
alert,
son of a
ain't
bitch.
wrong.
Son of a bitch. It's
Oh,
not-
that-
I do not have time to think about that.
Shit,
Pretty-
James, you might be pregnant.
I gotta say, those Fitbits are pretty accurate if they automatically know that James is a bitch.
All right.
I shouldn't
right.
laugh at that.
All right. We're just gonna keep.
Why
going
not?
on
It
this
was a very
podcast.
base thing to do.
It was pretty based. I have to admit. I won't fail to acknowledge when something is based, even if it's at my.
I won't.
It's a very base move to respect it.
You're like a martyred Christian.
Yeah. I self-flagellate. I do penitence. So Ham and Space Chimp land in Badger's house, which is actually Ham's house.
I like how he puts on one of Badger's sweaters, but still has his logo on it.
He does. So I guess
Yeah.
Badger really did know this guy because he had some sweaters made up with his logo on it.
Maybe he bought some gear. He bought some of his merch when he was watching him wrestle in the future.
Yeah, he was trying to sell these.
People listening to this episode are like, "What the fuck is going on?" I don't know. We didn't read this whole series. We're jumping in like dead set in the middle of it. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
To be clear, the Badger is known for being a crazy comic book. It's aged very well because while a lot of comic books at the time were kind of lighthearted and dumb, this was just a weird fucking comic book.
Look at these men. They're having a good time. They're eating pizza and drinking beer and singing and
Yeah.
laughing. And then the nagging woman
She
comes in.
to ruin it.
She's like, "I want you guys to do something with the Badger. He went crazy and tried to rape me." They're like, get out of here, you hysterical woman.
They take no action whatsoever
Yeah,
on
they're
that.
like, nah, man, we got to go lift weights shirtless.
And then
apparently pantsless for the monkey man.
And then the monkey man like grabs her hand and kisses it, and she immediately
Judas
is charmed
Maccabee.
and goes away.
She immediately melts. Yes, she
That's all you gotta
immediately
do.
melts.
That's all you gotta do. Tell them they look pretty.
Or is it
Awful.
Judas Maccabee or
It's
Judah?
It's Judah.
Judah.
So
Yeah.
then we cut to, I guess, a training montage.
That's
of,
right. Which is very unsafe because, like, Judah is curling a weight bar right on top of where the badger is doing incline sit-ups.
Yes.
So, like, why would he do that right above him? What if he drops it?
I don't know. I guess they have a very small gym. They have a studio apartment gym.
I guess.
Yeah. But we see that Judah, surprisingly, he's super jacked. It's not the first time I've seen an ape in the gym, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. Where's that Second Amendment gorilla?
Oh my gosh, guys. So I took this moment
Hang on.
for a fun fact.
All right. Sorry. Just only because he was mentioned. He always shows up when he gets mentioned. Sorry.
God. So I looked up because I was like, Judah Maccabee is like, that's a real name. Because the Maccabees are obviously like, it's a big Jewish thing. Judah Maccabee was a Jewish guerrilla leader.
Oh, wicked.
Oh. Like a gorilla, as in like a
Defended his country from the invasion by
so
the
that kind of gorilla.
Yeah, by a king, Epiphanes, preventing the imposition of Hellenism upon Judea and preserving the Jewish religion.
I knew all of
Alright.
that.
Yep, I did too.
See, that's a
So
base thing to do.
that
is pretend you
explains
knew.
why he's a space gorilla leader.
Okay. Yeah, and he's got he does have the mohawk, which is, I believe, that was like a Native American thing. Like when you were going into battle, you'd shave the sides of your head to keep so your head is still warm, but your hair's not getting in your way.
I'm pretty sure.
Are you saying
in
that
the-
because of Taxi? Or not Taxi?
Pretty
Yes.
sure in the animal kingdom, when
Taxi driver.
when the alpha when a gorilla becomes the alpha, they grow a mohawk and get a silver stripe.
Oh wow, and they get those cool
Like
man panties you can work out in.
There are hormone changes and they turn into a mohawk thing.
Now, do you think that this guy was, evolved from humans or from apes? It's
I
like
think
he's-
all humans. I think Joe Rogan becomes the dominant sperm donor for humanity, and we all evolve into this guy.
Wow. Okay, so you get enough Joe Rogans down the line, he basically turned into
Joe
a space
Rogan's
ape.
is gonna be like Genghis Khan, and everyone can like trace their lineage back to him.
Yes. Which
So
is something I
you're-
learned about from Patton Oswalt's comedy. He had a bit about that.
Really, I learned it from what was it? That Hardcore History.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah,
probably
where-
learned it from Patton
where,
Oswalt.
where everyone learned it. Everyone learned about the Mongols.
They probably picked it up from Patton Oswalt.
Oh, God, that guy
So,
sucks. Speaking of that, about an unbased person.
That was last episode's theme. We've moved on.
No, I haven't.
I saw Mulan.
I still hate that guy.
So the Badger and Space Chimp go to the bar or go to the liquor store because I guess he's got a real thing for beer. He likes Earth beer.
Yeah, because they don't have beer in the future because it lowers your
Yeah.
test.
And they're in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
starts listing off every actual brands of beer.
I like how they're
Yeah.
not like the Badger wasn't wearing his superhero costume, and then Judah's like, "Man, I would love to get some beer." He's like, "Well, you're in Wisconsin, the best place to get beer. Let's just go for a beer run." So the Badger takes time to put on his costume and then a jacket over it.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
a
"Well,
little,
I'm
it's a little
going
frosty
out."
out there.
Put on my costume.
And then we see Space Chimp's ID, and it says he's supposed to have corrective lenses. So the weird, like, Bono glasses he's been wearing, those are actual prescription lenses.
And his license is written in Arabic because they end up winning all the wars.
We're learning a lot about the future. I don't
Mhm.
really see how that dovetails with everyone being a descendant of Joe Rogan, though.
Yep, everyone is Muslim and descended from Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan ascends all that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The future's going to be awesome.
Joe Rogan, when in a previous episode, we said he was turning redder and more dense and more like, so he's going to pop, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to spread out his seed like a dandelion.
Ugh.
right?
I was
And
going to
and
say, yeah, he'll explode into like millions of tiny little Joe Rogans.
yeah, they float on the air, right? And
Yeah,
they're gonna
yeah.
start to impregnate all the women nearby.
Oh God,
No.
it's gonna be like that
I mean,
thing in the filth.
You know?
Hard not to be when you're that close to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, to perfection, you mean?
Start ovulating, yeah.
That close to perfect takes,
That's probably what's triggering my period.
right?
I made a comic book reference. Nobody
you-
acknowledged.
You mentioned The Filth, yes, which you read because I insisted you read
pay
it.
attention to me.
Because I insisted you read it because you were scared to read it. And I said, well, that's what we need to do is confront that.
Mm-hmm.
Worth
and
it.
it's great, and it's a fantastic book.
Very, very good.
So then it turns out that they won't sell the liquor to Space Chimp because he hasn't even been born yet.
Nope.
He's not going to be born for 500 years. 500 years is not a long time. That Joe
really.
Rogan super sperm must be really accelerated.
Had time to really, like stew.
Yeah,
'Cause,
literally. Yeah,
Women became pregnant for 100 years to grow those babies.
it's a long term.
Right?
So the Badger just buys it for him, which is really exposing a flaw in the carding system that an underage person can go with their friend who's not underage. The underage person can try to buy it for themselves. They'll turn them down, and then their friends just go, "Well, just put it on my name."
Yeah,
And
have you
you
never,
just
have you
can't
never
do
done
that.
that? Yes, you
No,
can.
I don't drink.
There was a
I don't
bar.
drink.
There was a bar right next to where my parents where I grew up, my parents' place, and they never carded you. Like I was going there when I was 17.
Yeah, they don't care. Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
nobody cares.
Well, especially in like a podunk town.
Oh, you say I'm from a podunk town? Fuck
Yes,
you,
I am.
elitist.
Yeah, she was pretty based about that. That is right. It is a
You
podunk
don't
town.
know. You guys don't know where I'm from. You don't know nothing about me.
From the Hicks.
I would if I would have listened more closely because I know you've told me.
Yeah, but why
I
would you,
just-
right?
I just didn't clock it.
Yeah.
I know your parents barely or do not have internet,
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't
They
think
don't
that you
believe in it.
can get internet.
which is why you're out in the Hicks.
Out in the
So you-
Hicks.
on
That's
the
the right word.
Hicks. Well, yeah. Shée tried to sound like one of the people and got the word wrong and exposed
That's
herself.
right. Look at Hillary Clinton walking into that person's house in that one. Do you ever see that where Hillary Clinton's like walking into a normal house?
I think I did mean sticks and said Hicks.
There you go. I know what you meant. I'll just
I
be a
think-
dick.
When Hillary Clinton crosses the threshold of a poor person's house, her skin burns.
Yeah, it's weird. I thought she had to be invited in first.
She does that vampire look, like when you hit a vampire with the lights. And
Right? She has to run outside real quick and like eat a baby for strength.
Yes. So they take all this beer back and they have a big party. Everybody gets dressed up. A lot of costume changes in this book.
Right? Yep.
I'm
Yep.
glad they had a suit that fit Space Chimp.
I'm sure. Well, they got a
And
wizard.
the wizard.
Yeah.
Well, it's the wizard's house.
Well, yeah, he would definitely have suits for himself. I guess he's got a similar build to Space Chimp.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just his
The
spare
wizard
suit.
lives in Wisconsin?
He sure
Yes,
does.
This is his castle.
Like
We
all
read
wizards.
another issue of
All
this.
wizards live in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's the wizard capital of the U.S.
That's where Hogwarts is.
it's right on the
My
the
dirty
Madison
secret
border.
is that I don't know anything about Harry Potter because I didn't
Neither do
really.
I.
You know, I never seen those. I was waiting. I knew one day that I would date a chick who was like obsessed with it, and she was gonna make me watch all the movies. So I just never saw them, thinking that
That
day
hasn't
would
happened.
come, and it never.
Yeah, child. You mean?
It never came.
When you
It's
would
not
date
too
a
late, Mike.
12-year-old child.
12-year-old child. No, there's some grown ass women that like that. Like
There
that
are.
shit.
It's
And
fucking
fucking
There are a
weird.
lot of grown ass women that love those movies.
It's fucking weird.
So after the dinner, Space Chimp takes all his cases of Coors and Miller, and he gets in the. I guess this is like the universal transportation position where you just sit there and kind of like hug your knees.
Mm-hmm.
And
be on an airplane.
yeah. And so Ham's gonna teleport him, but it turns out that Ham's kind of a shitty druid, and he inadvertently teleports him to the one place he knows how to teleport people, which is that weird limbo dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or he did it
Yeah.
on purpose.
We did it on purpose.
Dick. Yep.
Because he's dick.
So now that dude's stuck there fighting tiny Batmans on a crystal oatmeal raisin cookie.
I could
Jesus
go for
Christ, what a
cookie.
weird sentence.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could go for some cookies.
I could
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I got some non-pot brownies in the cupboard. I'll dig into after this.
God, you're no fun.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't like fun. I mean, I flavor my water sometimes. That's fun. And we find out that next month is a book called Snake Bile Cognac, but we're not going to be reading Cognac. I don't drink.
Kong.
People need to start spelling things the way they're pronounced.
I agree.
Like Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. America is spelled the way it
What
sounds.
did you think it was, James?
I think it's like
Cognac.
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 Cognac. I think it's like cognac.
Cognac.
Yeah, cognac.
That doesn't
That-
make any
that-
sense.
Silent G. What a weird fucking thing.
Silent G would be my rapper name.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
the same problem. It's the same problem I have with gnomes. Pronounce that fucking G.
I knew a guy growing up who was deathly afraid of garden gnomes, and he wasn't.
Yeah?
It wasn't like a work. Like if he saw one, he freaked out and ran.
Well, they're
And
weird looking.
He was super fat, so he couldn't run very well.
Although, in fairness, the shape with those little hats make them very easy to get into buttholes.
We would, we would buy garden gnomes and leave them in front of his front door and ring the doorbell and run off.
Guys are assholes.
Well, that's how
Yeah.
you gotta confront your fears,
Yeah, we know it was more like weeding out the weak.
or bullying. It's
Yeah,
more like
it was
bullying,
it
too.
was
Yeah,
for
so
sure
it's
that's
like
what
bullying.
that
Yeah,
was.
It
yeah.
is bullying.
Like he had a fear and we exploited it for our own amusement.
Well, you might think we'd be done right now, but we're not because there's a
No, there's
backup
a-
story.
About Zoomers.
That's
Zoomtown.
arguably even weirder. This is also written by Mike Barron, art by Ron Wagner and Gary Martin. It's a book called "Doing the Strip," and it's a different storyline of something called Zoomtown.
So was this the backup for a lot of Badger comics, or was
I have
this
no
just-
idea.
or was this like a preview for another comic they were gonna make?
I think this was
There's
an
clearly
ongoing
some
backup.
shit we missed.
Yeah.
But it must have happened fairly early because we read, this is issue 13, we read issue 8 and there was no backup. So
Mhm.
this must have came up pretty quickly and we missed a lot of backstory of what this is.
Well, from what I gathered, it was there was like a cult that had like a separatist society,
Mm-hmm.
and two guys didn't like being in it, so they stole a bunch of shit, and now they're going to use an atomic bomb to blackmail Las Vegas.
Yeah, but apparently they're aliens even though they all look human and they hang out on Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So the story opens up with this lady, another fantastic lady whose name I definitely remembered, Priscilla.
Yep.
And she's running into the garage because the two dudes have been fixing her car because she can't do it for herself because she is a stereotype.
Can you do it for yourself?
No, because I'm not a stereotype. If I could do it for myself, I would be a stereotype, a typical man who can fix his car. I can't. I'm bucking gender norms.
Yeah, there you go.
Very progressive of me to not know how to fix a car.
Yeah, by not knowing how to do something.
Yep, very progressive. And so they go to she goes to see these mechanics and says like, hey, I got to get to my job. Have you fixed my car yet? And they go, oh no, we actually got rid of that car. That's gone.
They
Yeah,
sold
they-
it for parts. Oops.
Oh no, they gutted it for parts to fix their supercar.
Yeah.
Which we're going to see in a moment because this thing is...
Zoomtown started in issue 10.
Oh, wow. So we're only 3 issues in.
All right,
This
that's
does
too
not
bad.
sound like 3 issues worth of progress to me. So she starts crying. She gets hysterical.
Yeah, well, yeah, they stripped her car for parts, and they're like, "Don't worry, we'll just we'll drive you home or whatever."
Yeah, that she's got to go to Vegas to go back to work, and they're like, "Well, you can just get in our massive, giant, 50-foot tall toaster that we drive around in."
Yeah.
It looks similar to the Death Race 2020 car.
Yeah.
Oh
a
yeah,
little bit.
with the presidential death
Yeah.
death
Yeah.
bus or whatever the fuck.
Death bus. Yeah. And so they get in this giant thing and they start heading through the country.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so they're heading to Las Vegas. They're going to drop her off. And as they're going, they start mentioning that like they're going to leave town because there's some dude named Gear who I guess they were working for, but Gear's gotten super weird lately. So they don't want to deal with this guy anymore.
Yeah. I can't. At first, I thought they were in a cult, and then it seemed like they were aliens.
Well, they are aliens.
Also, there are atomic bombs.
Yeah, they're aliens that are in a cult.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I guess the dude Gear has some weird things about like rules about what you can eat and drink. And at first, I guess it was like a free love thing, but then it became very particular about who you could have sex with. I don't know, man. Is this typical cult behavior?
Oh, well, I was raised Catholic, so yes.
Yes, yes. If you're not enjoying it, it's Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically the rule.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, well, we're gonna get all our stuff back. We're gonna get our revenge, and let's show you this atomic bomb that we built that we're gonna use to blackmail people with.
Based. See, Shade, that is based.
Atomic bombs for blackmail is absolutely based.
Mm-hmm.
There can be no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, well, that's fucking crazy.
Right, and look how like maddeningly happy he is about it.
Yeah.
Check it out. He's like, don't show her. He goes, I'm gonna show her.
She is not being cool about this. She's
Yeah.
gonna lose her action figure if she keeps behaving like this.
Yep.
Supplies. Atomic bomb.
Yep. And they give her $5,000 to get the hell out of here.
They drop her off because they can't drive their giant toaster in Las Vegas. The streets are too narrow because the thing is a monstrosity.
Get out of here, you stupid lady. Don't tell no one about our bomb.
I don't know why they entrusted her with this and then just dropped her off.
Because they wanted to impress her.
She
Guys,
clearly didn't like it.
Guys have like a need to
See?
impress chicks.
This is really the social commentary here. This says a lot about society when it was Sorry. Even in Zoomtown.
Especially.
No, they're trying to impress her. They try to impress a woman. She clearly is horrified by it.
Like all things men try to impress women with.
And then they just kind of act like, well, she was probably cool with that. Go about your day.
Yep.
Like,
all right, let's get to work.
This is how Louis C.K. got away with it. Like they just Louis C.K'd her.
He didn't get away with it.
He kind of did. He's still out there.
I
He's still making money.
mean, it worked out eventually.
It didn't take that long for it to work out for him.
I mean, he didn't do nothing too bad.
He got back in the saddle pretty quick.
I mean, considering what he could have been doing, I guess not too bad.
It could have been a lot worse. I mean, fair.
I mean, all of his material was about that.
He did have several bits about.
I mean, Cosby did have all those bits about roofing people. Maybe we should listen to comedians' material a little more closely.
That the Cosby Spanish fly bit used to be really famous.
And Cosby, I guess, actually, here's a fun thing about Cosby. When he was on, oh God, what was the show he was on? Amos and Andy? I Spy, when he was on I Spy.
Amos and Andy?
Wow.
What year is this?
I don't know.
When he was on I Spy, I guess back in the day, they used to hire white stuntmen and just like basically put them in blackface to do the stunts. And Bill Cosby refused to do the show until they hired a black stuntman.
Yep.
So,
who are these guys? The president of Canada?
What?
Yeah, the president of Canada does that.
Oh, Justin Trudeau. He's a good man.
No, he's not. He's a shit lib who wears blackface.
He did turn out to be quite problematic.
Like, fuck that dude.
So anyway, so what's her name? Priscilla. She goes to, I guess, her broker's office. She's a dancer. She's a professional dancer. Hoofer.
first
No,
Speed
she
home.
goes to a casting agent essentially at the NGM.
All right, close enough.
Yeah, before we get to see her
that's fair.
ass.
Yeah, and then we get a panel where her and her friend are getting
Changing.
dressed and changing and contemplating scissoring.
That was just the artist wanted
Nope.
to draw some ass.
Just pretty sure that's what happened.
He's just like, are the writers just like, why did you have this scene take place in the bathroom? He goes, why don't you just shut up?
Fair enough. You're the creative.
Why don't you just let me draw what I want?
Yeah, why don't you just get the hell out of here?
Hey, what is this, Marvel? Shut up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were doing indie comics here. I thought we were doing independent things. So her friend is like, hey, why don't you go hang out with this mobster I know? And she's like, well, I don't know. That's pretty dark, isn't it? And she goes, shut the fuck up. You hang out with aliens.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's a
Plus, she's in Vegas.
yeah, he's a casting agent for a casino show in Vegas. Of course, he's in the mob.
No, he's not the casting agent.
No, he's just some dude. Although he
No.
does seem to have some pull.
Yeah, because like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they go and they meet this dude. His name is, I mean, it's not going to matter. His name is Randy Hoyle.
His name is Sweaty Lasagna.
And he's Mr. Las Vegas, apparently. I don't know what that means.
That's who I am.
Yeah, Mr. Las Vegas.
Mhm.
And so they go to see Randy Hoyle, and they're sitting around, and they're having a great time. And it's kind of intimated that Randy Hoyle pulled some strings to get Priscilla and her friend a job. That's kind of nice. And then somebody shows up in a Zoomtown maintenance outfit.
It's one of the guys that
One of-
she was with, isn't
yeah,
it?
one of the
Yeah.
mechanics. Yeah, one of the mechanics shows up who is apparently an alien, even though he just looks like a normal dude in a mechanic's outfit.
And he's like, well, maybe he's just crazy.
I think they all look normal.
I mean, can
He
crazy
shows up
people-
and tells them like, hey, give me $5 million or I'm gonna blow up Vegas with my atomic bomb. Kind of cheap, right? It sounds like a good deal.
It is kind of a good deal. And to
Yeah.
prove that they're not bluffing, they actually do a demonstration. They blow up part of the hills outside of Vegas there.
Yep.
And so he's like, all right, I'll call the mayor. I'll see what I can do. I'll get you a few $1 million.
And she starts yelling at him like, hey guys, that was pretty uncool.
Yeah, this is kind of a problem. This is my job. I'm trying to keep things going
I'm
here.
trying to work in Vegas. You guys are gonna blow it up.
You drop me off in a giant toaster. Now you're trying to blow up my fucking city. Like, what the hell is this?
She does not seem angry enough.
No.
No. The women in this book, in both stories, not really. Their anger is not scaling with the circumstances.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Comic books are a male fantasy.
Mhm.
There definitely is a little bit of that going on here, for sure.
Women just don't get upset about our shenanigans.
And then as she's getting mildly irritated with them. I guess this is Gear. I guess this
and
is the leader
Gear
of
is
the Zoomtowns.
played by Magna Conte.
Magna Conte from Kickers Incorporated. Yeah, Silver Fox shows up. He's carrying a giant plumber's wrench.
Yep.
And he's mad because they took his bomb, his car, and his woman, and he's going to take them back.
Mm-hmm. It says to be continued, but not for us.
Not for us. We'll get around to it eventually. But
Or we
no,
won't.
that's
Yeah, we got to throw the badger back on the wheel and just agree we won't like. There's a moratorium. Is that the right word?
moratorium. Moratorium would mean we wouldn't do any badger issues.
Yeah, for like weeks or months. But we
Okay.
got to get the badger again.
I will promise you no badger next week. It's not going to happen. That's my
Nope.
promise to you.
No.
But that ends the comic.
Yep, that's it.
What do we think?
I liked it because I have ADD.
Sure. Yeah, just constant stimuli. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shée, what'd you think of this comic?
10 out of 5 stars.
Wow,
Perfect.
you think this is better than the last Badger issue?
Don't remember much of the last badger.
That did have the Badger mincing a man up, mincing a demon up.
It was
into
meant to
a
be a
paste.
demon who killed
Oh
dogs.
yeah.
and
He was
then
killing
head spinning him.
dogs.
Yeah,
Lot
they
of
put him on his
animal
head
vi-
and spun him.
A lot of animal violence in Badger comics.
Well, there turns out that in his childhood, he found like an injured badger and nursed it back to health, and then his shitty dad or stepdad came and just killed it.
Look at Gear's his left eye looks like it's falling out of his head.
A little bit.
It's like
Look at
Lisa
it.
Left Eye Lopez.
It's like he's melting. Like his eye is just melting out of his head.
Well, I can't imagine that they spent as much time on this as they did on the Badger
I'm
comic.
like,
So
are you looking at me?
get it done. I enjoyed this a lot. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 weightlifting Roman future chimps.
What?
Yeah, all right.
Listen to them go.
Shit, that was my tag.
Fucking underrated.
Well, I can't give them all 5. No, this
Oh,
was
man.
very good. It wasn't
This
a
was
classic,
worth a
but it was very
5.
good. Look,
I'm doing this whole comic going like, yep, tag's gonna be super easy. Just gonna
Weightlifting
do
Roman future chimps.
Just weightlifting chimps, and then I'm like, fuck.
you could. It's a jumping off point. You can take it somewhere else. I liked it very much, and honestly, if I were to sit down and read the whole run, which I probably will someday, it might even kick it up even further. This was really good. I enjoyed it a
Yeah,
lot.
I liked it too.
Yeah, it's good.
I won't argue about your rating. It's fine.
Oh, you're not going to shade it up a little bit? Actually,
Nope.
you both give me shit all the time. So
Nah, not this time, bud. Not this time, good
Wow.
buddy.
I earned it.
It's all right. I don't feel
Er-
passionate enough one way or another about anything.
I earned my reward. All right. Yeah, I thought this was going to take a lot longer than it did.
No, thank God.
No, well, no. I thought the whole point is we were just going to have let our bellies, our disgusting fat bellies.
It's
just kinda
still
hang out.
well over an hour. When I was playing old episodes, like the Adam Warlock episode was like 25 minutes.
Well, if you check the episode log, you can actually see the times of every single episode and see how they got progressively longer.
But
And
not
we're still pushing
progressive.
that. I got a little more progressive. I got a little
Didn't get
woker.
progressive at all.
I woke up a little bit. I don't know, man. Let's talk about what we're doing next time.
Yeah, what are we doing next time? Is this? Do
We
we have
don't
like
know.
requests, or are we doing a wheel
I think we're just doing the wheel.
or a wheel request?
Yeah, we don't really have anything to do with the request wheel right now. But if people want to send in requests, please.
They did. I've gotten requests on the.
We got a
sent to
couple?
us. Yeah,
We got a couple. Let's look at that for next
I think
time.
I think I added some. I'm pretty sure I did.
All right. Oh, we've got a few here.
Yeah, we got a few. We got some.
Do we want to do a request wheel?
I don't care.
Wow.
I don't care.
All right, let's do a request next week. How about
All right,
that?
all right. Let's do a request. Let's do a request.
But
Fine.
here's what I'm gonna do because I don't
make
have
sure
a
they're not-
request wheel ready.
Just make sure they're not Superman.
Yeah, they can't be Superman. So what I'm gonna do? Yeah, we don't have a specific request wheel at the moment because I've been lazy. But here's what we'll do: we'll just make one that just has. It looks like we have 10 requests, so we'll
Mhm.
make a wheel with 10 on them, and we'll just compare them from there.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. I think we have more than 10, bro.
I'm looking at 10. In fact, I'm looking at 10 right
it's
there.
10 exactly.
It's 10 exactly.
Fine.
I need
Fine.
10. Okay, so I'm making new wheel here. I'm making a wheel. I'm checking it twice. We got 10.
Yeah, I was
items
just about
on
to
there.
sing the song.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the song is, because of course we can't spin a wheel without any kind of spinning music. So let's see what
Yeah.
we got on the wheel.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, you can spin around in circles.
Oh, sick.
That's Christina Aguilera inviting her haters to spin around in circles on her middle finger.
That's a pretty good song. Sounds like Everclear wrote it.
She's really trying to tap into that That
So
rich
she's just telling
Everclear
them to
vein.
sit and spin.
Yeah.
Sit and spin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like a nice 1970s insult. That was really hot in the 2000s.
Well, I'm sure the writer was 70 years old.
Yes. All right, let's spin the wheel and see what requests we're doing next time.
Those old
almost
Jewish
said next
dudes
week.
just writing songs for Christina Aguilera. The kids will like it. Sit and spin, edgy.
All right. Looks like next time we're looking at Weird War Tales number 89 from 1980. This is actually not technically a request. Art mentioned it. Our buddy Art Parker mentioned it a while ago, and I threw it on the list because it is about Nazi guerrillas.
Perfect.
Excellent.
I'm
Shea,
pretty happy about that.
I don't think we had enough gorilla content in this
Nope,
episode.
Not
We
at
need
all. Or Nazis.
More apes. So let's take a quick look at the cover here of what we're looking at next time. Weird War
Oh,
Tales.
fantastic.
So we've got a bunch
That's
of
fantastic.
apes, some of which have chosen to remove the sleeves from their army uniforms.
Yeah.
They're
Their guns
Nazis.
are just too big. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. One of them holding a gun in like a Rob Liefeld way, where he kind of doesn't know where to aim it.
All right.
And it says, "Would you dare defy the primate platoon?" I won't
Yeah.
defy that.
Nope.
I'm
Nah,
gonna
and I
fall
won't
in
defy
line.
the wheel, and we'll read this book.
No, I'm gonna lick the boot of this wheel for sure.
We learned what happens if we don't listen.
Yep.
What did happen? I forgot. It wasn't
Nothing.
good.
Nothing.
I can't remember. It was bad. I wasn't happy about it. I remember I was
It
upset
wasn't
about
Miss
something.
America, was it?
No, Miss America-
I just picked that one for 4th of
Yeah.
July because it was hilarious.
That was Mike blowing a fuse.
Hilarious is not the word I would use.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the word I would.
That's a rough episode. Yet it's still up for some reason.
It sure is.
Nobody's taking that thing down.
Why? We didn't make the comic. Like we didn't make this one.
Right. Well, we have had comics where we just decided that it was too problematic.
You know, I'm
but,
gonna wonder because I'm gonna have to cut out panels for Twitter. Because all these gorillas have a bunch of swastikas on them. I wonder if I'm gonna get in trouble.
Well, you're just gonna have to come up with a new symbol and replace all the swastikas with something else.
All right, I can do that.
Little smiley faces or something. Isn't
Yeah.
that what Charlie Manson did on South Park? Is like he was trying to improve his image, so he changed his swastika to a happy face.
Yeah, I'll just make them all happy faces.
Yeah, something like that.
There you
I don't
go.
know. Whatever.
Yeah, put a bunch of poo emojis on them.
All right. I guess I feel pretty good about what we've done here today.
Yep.
All right, all right.
feel good about what we've done as people in our
Yeah,
lives.
We've made a big impact on the world. I
Mhm.
mean, who can
We
tell?
contributed today.
500 years from now, maybe this is what tipped the scales.
I'm pretty happy that I made a big deal about picking a requested book, and it lands on one that's not really a request.
Well, it sort of was a request. I think, like I said, everybody Art Parker mentioned it, and I was like, well, that should go on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
glad you're-
that's fair.
Glad,
Well,
glad you're thinking what I would want.
maybe we'll do a request after this one again. And I don't know.
Sure,
we'll
we
get
have a
one of the other
bunch
ones
now.
out.
We really do need to start
We have a
getting
few.
through 'em.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. I see some. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. So, yeah, but that's going to be next time. Shea, do you have any closing plugs to get us out of here?
Yep.
Thank God.
So, look for Dark Side's Couch on Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Spotify, any other based podcast listening app to listen and rate our podcast.
Shea,
It's
apps,
pre-based.
apps are not based.
Based.
They're not.
But app developers are super based.
Yes, they are.
Visit us at darksidescouch.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Darksides Couch, and now at YouTube for all our old and new fair use content using media.
Yep. Very fair use. Very,
some-
very fair use.
And sometimes there's some fun surprises in the YouTube videos, but
That'll
not
be our
always.
That'll be our base. We'll just start saying fair use. Very fair use.
Very fair. I do like that, actually. I'm going to hang on to that. Make a note. Start
it.
saying very fair use.
Yeah, there we
Good.
go.
I don't know, man. I think we're done.
Yeah, we're done. I can go to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I'm surprised. We wrapped up a little. I've been trying to make the episodes longer, and here's Mike deciding to actually stay on topic, sidetracking the entire plan.
It's fine. It still went a while.
It's got to be longer.
It's
Maybe I'll
still, it's still longer than like the ones we used to do.
maybe I'll slow it down in post.
There you go. Oh yeah, and put a shoegaze reverb to everything.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Anybody got any last comments before we get out of here?
Well, everyone just stay fair use.
Shay?
Stay gold and get your booster.
Ta-ta for now, Cushion Crusaders. We'll talk to you next time on the couch.
All night.
And listen, don't get me wrong, I'm one of those dads. I had a problem with my son playing with a doll. And I felt the duty, I had to get this out there. I had to let the other dads know.
I think we might have a serial killer on our hands.